I guess you're alone then. What could you possibly be doing in the city, though? And I thought Colt Girl would be with you like I saw last night. She decidedly mumbled aloud to the cat, still petting the surprisingly affectionate animal. It barely acknowledged her words, finding the affection she was giving to be more of a priority in its mind. She wondered if Colt Girl ever gave the animal love like this. She probably had more thoughts about which demon she would sacrifice this poor animal to, if anything. The cat suddenly drew back from her hand and fixed its eyes on her face. Her own eyes widened in turn, but she relaxed when the cat looked away and at her own hand, suspended in midair, then sniffed at her gray, tear-stained sleeve. You know, you might be my one true friend in this. It's been a while since anyone's seen me cry. She sighed to the cat sadly, who had decided it didn't mind the tear-stained sleeve if it meant getting petted more. Then again, you could just be using me to get petted more, she joked, but there was an obvious undertone of self-deprecation present. The cat still didn't say anything. Then again, it was a cat. And it sat back on its legs and brought its front paws forward and planted them on her thigh. Immediately, she flinched away, hissing in pain. The animal also recoiled, a small cry mixed with a muffled yipe and stifled meow eliciting from its unopened muzzle, and it plopped onto the ground with its head on its paws next to her. Sorry, you can't get on my lap. She smiled slightly at the animal. The way it reacted was very reminiscent of a disciplined dog, even with its ears going back towards its shoulders. It was weird seeing that from a cat, but it was pretty funny too. It was like it was actually showing its guilt to her. She had heard about how if an animal was raised by another, it would develop their respective traits. Perhaps that's what happened to this cat. Did Colt Girl own a dog in the past? She hadn't seen hide or hair of one, much less heard it bark, so it was probably a recent adoption. She reached her hand out to console the animal, from whatever it actually could feel. However, the cat drew its head up and its ears went erect in alertness. She watched a shadow fall over the both of them in the alley, and she saw what looked like a man outlined against the bright lavender LED lights on the building across the street. She turned back to look at the cat, but saw just its plume of a tail whisk out of sight and into the abyssal shadow at the end of the alley. Uneasiness settled into her gut, and she nervously turned to the guy standing just several feet away from her.